Following the encounter between Yaya and Dongfeng Yushu on the mountain, they drink together, and Yushu says he wishes he's still staying with them. Yaya calls him a hypocrite and asks why he left them even when he knows he wishes to keep staying. He tells her he and her sister have a dream, and they both have to chase it. At that point, Yushu remembers the first time he met the head of the fox spirit, Tushan Hong Hong. That day, the members of the Tiger Clan destroy his city. They chase him until he gets to the Tushan Island. He climbs onto the ground and lies there, knowing so well that the members of Tiger Clans can't penetrate Hong Hong's quarters. As the two members, Brother He and Brother Hu, try to argue about who goes to find Yushu, one of the heads of the Wind Clan, a Taoist, Yumian Fengjun, comes there in his wheelchair. He calls Yushu and asks him to come. He tells Yushu that he will protect him from the Tiger Crane and train him to be a better fighter. Yushu asks if he's rich enough to protect him. He insists that he enjoys food, and he thinks Fengjun is poor and even disabled. He tells Fengjun to prove his riches by giving him 100 silver taels. Fengjun throws the money at him immediately. He says Fengjun may be begging, and 100 taels is too small to prove his riches, so Fengjun should give him 1,000 taels. Fengjun doesn't have the money. On the other hand, the brothers of Tiger Crane plan that Fengjun may get Yushu before them, so they should attack. They jump into the Tushan quarters, and it seems as if lightning sends them back. Behind them is Hong Hong, with the bell in her hair dangling right behind her. She asks them what gives them the audacity to enter her quarters without her consent. The brothers attempt to attack her again, so much that Yushu is scared for her, but she tackles them without much stress. She breaks Brother Hu's hands off and cracks all his bones around. At this point, Fengjun asks her to pardon them, but she refuses. Fengjun sends Khan the Hurricane in the form of wind. At first, Hong Hong stops the storm with her hands. She eventually enters through it, jumps to the sky, and attacks Fengjun. They are shocked at her skills. Yaya, right behind her sister with Rongrong, tells them how strong Hong Hong is. They bow down to her and Rongrong brings out a seal. She puts it on their head, and Yaya threatens them that the seal is a soul-devouring seal. She tells them the seal will eat their souls, and when it remains in their bodies, they will eat it. The villains start begging, and Yaya wonders why Yushu isn't begging too. Despite that, the seal is on his head too. He says that if demons want to kill, they let you know they want to kill. But if humans intend to kill, they deceive you with a smile before killing. He says he would rather die from a spirit attack than a human, and if Hong Hong wants to kill him, she would have. It turns out that the seal is only a bill for their trespass. Rongrong bills them, and she bills Yushu 1 tael. Fengjun asks if they can take Yushu away when they pay their bills, but Yushu quickly pays his. The villains do not have money, so Yushu advises that they drop some of the things on their bodies. The properties on them are now worth more than their trespass fee. And Hong Hong says he hates owing people, so she asks them to visit their city for an excursion, so they will spend their extra money. They take them around the city and make them have fun until they finish their money. Fengjun asks if he can take Yushu away, but Yushu quickly pays 3,000 taels to buy more time with the fox. As a result, the villains wait outside the fox quarters hoping for a good time to find Yushu. 6 months later, the villains are still waiting for Yushu. On the other hand, in the quarters, Yushu goes to give Hong Hong a meal. She pours it at him and asks why he's still with them. She calls Rongrong and tells her they have enough slaves, so why is Yushu still with them? Rongrong replies that since they had slaves, they need slaves of slaves who would wash other slaves' clothes and plates, so she employed Yushu for that purpose. Hong Hong reminds Rongrong of the dangers in their quarters. At about the same time, some Taoists throw bombs at the Tushan quarters. The Yishidao team has come with Jimmy and Hushin, the user of the holy fire, a fire that no one, not even Hong Hong, can withstand. Hong Hong goes to fight despite knowing the probability of winning is very low. She flies there and Yushu feels pity for her. He asks Rongrong if they are sure Hong Hong will survive, and Yaya tells him he doesn't know how strong their sister is. At that point, one of the holy fire flies toward the mountain. The building breaks into two, and the part of it in which Yushu is standing falls into the water. He screams for Rongrong to save him, and since Rongrong doesn't reply, he swims into the water. He tells her that he is strong and can survive independently. He swims toward the edge and he meets his enemies who have been waiting for him for 6 months. On the other hand, Hong Hong keeps fighting her enemy. She finds the holy fire difficult to withstand as the fire and defeat any spirit. When his enemies get a hold of him, he tells them they can't do anything to him as he is under Hong Hong control. However, they tell him there is no way Hong Hong can defeat the flames, and if the Yishidao defeats Hong Hong, the other spirits will be defeated without stress. Ya and Rong realize their sister is losing the fight. They attempt to jump to help her, but the other Taoists attack them. They are grounded by these Taoists, and Rong also realizes there's no way that she can escape. When Yushu figures this, he screams, revealing his real identity as Dongfeng, a disciple of the Holy Flames and a trusted disciple of Jinmian. He screams at Jinmian, calling him uncle, and he tells them the villains want to kill him. When Jinmian figures he is the one, he tells him he will come to save him after defeating Hong Hong. Hong Hong uses this distraction to get away from the flames. Yushu keeps screaming, so the Taoists guarding Ya and Rong leave them to save Yushu, so they can get Jinmian praise. However, Feng Jin throws them away with his wind. Jinmian throws another fire at Hong Hong, which she pushes toward the direction Feng Jin is in. As a result, Feng Jin gets smoked, while Ya wonders why Yushu revealed his identity. Rong tells her it's because of Hong Hong, and as a result, he has pitched his tent towards Hong Hong. Hence, if Hong Hong loses, he may be killed. She gets an opportunity to attack Jinmian with her flames, trying to deceive Jinmian with his words more. Yushu screams that Jinmian is a betrayal. He says that he doesn't have powers and is only his grandfather's apprentice. He tells everyone how Jinmian stole his grandfather's power. Naturally, the power to wield the holy flames only belongs to the Dongfeng family. However, as a servant to his grandfather, Jinmian kills his grandfather and takes away all his grandfather's blood. He drains his grandfather, and as a result, he gets the power. He also decides to make Yushu's father his servant. And when Yushu's father dies, he marries his mother so he will retain that power. As he screams this, Jinmian remembers when he killed Dongfeng, Yushu's grandfather, and how he drained his blood and replaced the blood with his. He wonders how Yushu could have such sacred information as he wasn't even born then. He screams to the other Taoists there that Yushu is lying and that no one should believe Yushu despite that he knows Yushu is telling the truth. Hong Hong uses this distraction to throw Jinmian off with her expelling spell. He falls and collapses. She walks on the water and warns the Taoists never to come to her city again. One of the Taoists holds a pill and Jinmian asks him to give him this pill. As Rong looks at the pill she realizes it's not a healing pill. Rather, it's a pill that grants the Holy Flames power. Before she warns her sister, Jinmian has taken drugs. Jinmian gains the final level of Holy Flames. He kills all the Taoists and tells them they have heard what they shouldn't hear. He flies towards the sky, and he directs his flame toward the Tushan sisters. Yushu tries to frustrate him again, but it doesn't work. The flames are too hard that Hong Hong comes to protect them. She figures she will soon die, so she begs her sister to leave with Yushu, but they refuse to leave her. Ya jumps to stop the fire, but she can't hold it. At that point, Yushu asks Hong Hong if she wants to know their family secret. He puts her hand on his chest and kisses her with the blood. The union of their blood becomes a white fire that goes straight to penetrate Jinmian. They win the fight, but Yushu has collapsed. Yushu goes for treatment, and the person treating him kisses him. As he touches the lips, he remembers kissing Hong Hong before he collapses. He says that the lips he is kissing at the moment is just like Hong Hong's own. He intensifies the kiss only to open his eyes and see a demon in front of him. He screams, and the creature changes into a human. She tells him she is the leech spirit, and she is healing him by using her saliva. She tells him that calling her for home service is expensive, and Hong Hong has called her to treat him. She tells him Hong Hong has never asked anyone for favors before, and she's shocked that Hong Hong asked for help to heal him. She asks him about his relationship with Hong Hong, and he asks her if she knows what her future husband is. He tells her he has been commissioned to be Hong Hong's future husband, and that's why Hong Hong is taking care of him. Ya stands from the bed. She tells the spirit, Siyu, that Yushu is lying and Hong Hong doesn't have anything with Yushu. She reminds him that he has seen Hong Hong in action, and Hong Hong doesn't like when people lie against her so that Hong Hong will kill him. He tells her he will confess his feelings to Hong Hong, so she won't kill her. Amid that commotion, Rong arrives and puts her hands on Yushu's head. By the cliff of Tushan's mountain, the Taoists have been treated by Tushan, taking their swords as a price. One of the Taoists says that before he collapsed, he felt it was Jinmian that attacked them. Jinmian argues otherwise but says in his mind that he will kill the Tushans. As he thinks, Hong Hong comes out holding Yushu. She tells them that although she wants to release them, she thinks they won't leave her alone if the holy flames still exist in Yushu. So she stabs him. She throws his remains off. Jinmian touches the flowing blood to confirm that it's Dongfeng's blood. Then Hong Hong drags Jinmian up. She tells him he doesn't deserve Dongfeng's blood and has stolen it. She opens the slit of his hands so that Dongfeng's blood flows away. She brings out a medical drink made by Siyu and pours it into his body, making him create blood of his own, then throws him off. Before leaving, Jinmian vows to destroy them. After the Taoists go, the Tushan sisters come out, and Rongrong removes her disguise on Fengjin's remains, showing that the person killed isn't Yushu, and it was Yaya's powers that covered the blood to make it look like Yushu's own. From that day, it is known to the human world that Yushu is dead. Jinmian gets depressed after the loss of Dongfeng's power. He can no longer use his holy flames, and for the master of sacred flames, that's the worst that can happen to him. As he sits depressed, his clan wonders what's wrong with him. One of them tells the others about Dongfeng's blood. According to Hong Hong, the Dongfeng blood is the only one that can wield the holy flames, and it is usually transferred from a mother to a son. And since Dongfeng's blood has been removed from Jinmian, he is useless. The other member comments that the Tushan has done them great evil. However, the other one replies, "What evil?" He says that they had attacked the Tushan over 5 times, and that throughout the 5 days they have never lost a soul, so the Tushan has significantly been considerate. At the Tushan's quarters, Rongrong and Yaya accompany Yushu to bury his parents. They ask him if he has any other relative alive, and he tells them that he only knows about his aunt, and his aunt has been turned into a sword of the Wangquan family. As they talk, Hong Hong arrives. She tells him that she hates owing someone a favor, and since he saved her life, he should tell her what he wants in return. He tells her he isn't safe anywhere. He narrates that he has spent most of his life with humans, and he's sure they will hunt him again anytime they see him. So he wishes to stay with them forever. They accept him. At the mountain scene, Yaya reminds Yushu of how he struggled to join them, and asks why he now decided to go against them. They remember the day Yushu left the Tushan. That day, as he is about to leave, Yaya catches him. She threatens him and says she won't allow him to go unless he can step on her. He uses a skill Yaya taught him herself to step on Yaya and leave. As he leaves, he advises Yaya to explore her ice skills and stop copying Hong Hong using brute means. Rongrong appears using Hong Hong's body. He finds out immediately, and he deceives her to escape. As he walks away, Hong Hong arrives. At first, he thinks it's Rongrong, and when he realizes it's Hong Hong, he tries to tell her he only wants to urinate. She tells him to leave if he wants to, and he walks past her. She remembers all her memory with him. He stops and says the reason he wants to leave is that he knows what they did. It's evident that Rongrong knows what he's talking about, but Yaya doesn't. Yaya asks what it is, and when Yushu attempts to tell her, Hong Hong threatens him. In the present time on the mountain, Yaya persuades Yushu to convince the Yushudo people, as he is now chief. But he tells her it's the elders' decision that he must fight Hong Hong till one of them dies, and a leader is only a lackey for the elders. Thinking of Yushu's words, Hong Hong reminds herself that despite being the head of the demons, she is sure she isn't a lackey for others, just as Yushu has said. At present, Bai, Yushu, and the other Taoists watch the story, and they are excited to see where it will end. On the fight day, it turns out Yushu and Hong Hong are being set up by a demon. The demon hits Yushu, and he is about to die. Before Yushu dies, he apologizes to Hong Hong for not listening to her opinion. He sheds tears and activates the tear void for the first time. The demon reminds him that he can't use the tear void anyhow, and since he doesn't have a grip on it at the moment, they would all die if he uses it. Hong Hong helps him channel the tear void to attack the demon. They both decide to spend their last time fighting their enemy. Hong Hong apologizes to Yushu and says they should use the Tree of Plight to pray that they both get reincarnated. As they do so, the spirit stabs Yushu. Angrily, Hong Hong goes to hit the spirit, who later regenerates and strangles her. He sees he will ensure they both do not reincarnate. The demon, an afterlife beast called her ladyship, keeps strangling Hong Hong. She tells her she knows what she wants and tells her ladyship that she wants the tear void. However, how that Yushu has just an eye, there is no way she can get it. Her ladyship recalls that Jinmian came to meet her. Jinmian tells her he's no longer worth his title and name. However, he wants something from her. He tells her he wants to punish Hong Hong and Yushu so much that they will cry for death, and they will not be able to reincarnate. She asks what he would give her in return, and he tells her he will tell her where the thing she has been seeking for years is. He tells her the Tear Void, a great power that she has been looking for, is in Yushu, but Yushu hasn't mastered it. The Tear Void can only be mastered when the user is in an emotionally desperate situation where he can't help but cry. Her ladyship tells Jinmian that she knows Yushu has the Tear Void, and since Jinmian's information isn't helpful for her, she has to kill him. He tells her he has given up on life before visiting her, but he hopes his pain will cause the lovers so much pain that they won't reincarnate, and her ladyship promised to fulfill his wish. Hong Hong tells her ladyship that the teardrop has been destroyed, and if she is released and they reincarnate, she will get the teardrop for her. As a result, her ladyship leaves them. Hong Hong does the pledge of love to Yushu before dying. She hopes he will remember her when they reincarnate. At present, both Susu and Yushu wonder if they are the ones in the movie. Suddenly, a shadow figure which Rong Rong recognizes as Joshi appears. He has made a promise to her ladyship to destroy Tushan. Rong Rong reminds Zoshi that the Tushan quarters aren't somewhere he can enter as he wishes and asks him if he has any evil in his mind to do. Outside the hall, one of Zoshi's men, the King of Destruction, throws down the mountain all over Tushan. The Gubao Zai, meaning the ancient treasure store, is broken down and falls over Tushan. The Fox Guards go to fight the King of Destruction and try to protect the citizens. In the hall, Rong Rong reminds Zoshi that he can't perpetuate any evil in the quarters unless he is with someone who can help him. Then the King of Destruction arrives. Yaya walks in with her great aura of strength and energy. Her ice spirit makes one shake. And as Zoshi sees her, he asks her why she changed her outfit. She tells him whatever she wears isn't his business. He replies that he knows she doesn't care about him, and that everything on her mind is Yushu and Hong Hong. He threatens that he wants to do something that Yaya will never forget. He tells her he knows Hong Hong's secret. He brings out the Mengyang Jihu, the nightmare fox. And the Mengyang Jihu has the power to eat foxes' powers and wills. He promises to erase every trace of Hong Hong that she will never be able to get back. Zoshi remembers when he got to Tushan, as he wounded Fox. Rong Rong sees him and shows Yaya. As he opens his eyes, he sees the most beautiful person around, Tushan Yaya. He works and overworks to ensure he can get Yaya's praise and admiration. However, it's an illusion. He eventually becomes human and he tries to get Yaya's praise, but he sees Yaya looking at Susu, who finds it difficult to use any power. He hopes that one day Yaya will give him back the same look. He goes outside to cry, and he meets her ladyship, who tells him she will give him what he wants. At the present time, Zoshi uses the spirit of dreams on Susu and Yushu. However, when he asks what Yushu is dreaming, he sees cake, and he gets distracted, so Yushu hits him. Yushu and his father dance in front of him, telling him he can't manipulate the dreams of a poor person as they are the king of dreamers. Zoshi laughs at them. He tells them Susu can't contain her dream, and he turns out to be correct. Hong Hong arrives in place of Susu, and she keeps saying, "I didn't." Yushu goes to meet her, but he notices she isn't herself and she's taller. She punches him, and he flies off. She keeps hitting him until he is presumed dead. Yaya runs to meet her sister, however Hong Hong hits her. At this point, Rong Rong asks Zoshi if he indeed knows the reason that they laughed at Hong Hong's fight with Yushu in her past life, and he says he knows it. Sometimes in the past, Hong Hong and Rong Rong were kidnapped by a Taoist who put them in a cage with multiple seals that they are unable to leave. The man looks at them and aspires to rape them, but his rider talks to distract him. The rider dives the cart off the cliff as a form of distraction. They eventually get to their lodge, a home filled with seals and bells. So much so that Hong Hong can't unseal herself to use her powers. As the Taoists sleep, his rider comes to Hong Hong as she struggles with her seal. The boy tells her his boss sleeps very deeply, and when he sleeps, nothing can wake him. He helps Hong Hong remove her seal. However, Hong Hong remembers the word of the former leader of Tushan, who tells her never to trust humans, especially men, as they will use you for their pleasure. As the boy unseals her, she stabs him with her hand. She comes out of her cage and carries Rong Rong. Before the Taoist wake, she has torn off all the seals and bells. When the Taoist uses another spell on her, she breaks through it. A month later, she sits in front of the Tree of Love and meditates. Yaya comes to brag about how good she has become, but the leader tells her not to disturb Hong Hong, as Hong Hong has been in the same position for a month. The blood of the rider she killed remains on her hands. The blood, the emotion, the feeling, Hong Hong has been unable to remove them, and that's the incident that caused it all. The one that she forced Yushu not to say when he wanted to leave Tushan, and the one Yaya doesn't know about. After the story, Zoshi calls her to come. She goes nearer to him, and he is about to transfer what he called the secret he has learned. He leans forward to connect their lips, but Bai Yushu jumps in and punches him. Yushu asks himself how he came from underground. He remembers he has gone to his father, who he saw laughing that he is dead, so he will get insurance. After talking to his father advises him that the Susu he loves is no longer here, and all that remains in her body is Hong Hong, so he should stop involving himself in spirit fights. He tells him he will try to bring Susu back before he disappears back to Tushan. After hitting Zoshi and putting a seal on his head, the King of Destruction comes to him. He deceives the king underground where he sees Rongrong. Rongrong tells him Hong Hong is tied in her illusion, and she won't survive if he doesn't change into Dongfang Yushu. She tells him Susu's body won't be able to contain Hong Hong's power, and Susu will die. However, Bai Yushu refuses the offer. He knows Dongfang Yushu owes some debts. Dongfang Yushu speaks to him from inside, asking him to help Hong Hong. Eventually, he asks Rongrong to write off the debts. But when Rongrong refuses, she tells him she will work them as servants of servants and earn money. He signs his contract and his spirit leaves him. In the dream world, the young Taoist that Hong Hong killed appears to her. He tells her to stop thinking about his death and she should do something to receive him. She asks what she can do, and he gets nearer to her to ask her for her powers. As she's about to give him, Yushu arrives with Rongrong into Hong Hong's dream. Yushu hits the boy until he changes to Zoshi. He hits Zoshi and sends him back to the real world while Rongrong uses her powers to bring Hong Hong back. She gives Yushu the memory recovery mallet, asking him to hit himself until he receives Dongfang Yushu's memory. At the world, Zoshi keeps bragging that he hasn't lost and has other things in plan for them. Yaya arrives. He finds out Yaya wasn't injured, and she tells him she has been pretending so Yushu can intentionally get his powers. Realizing that he is about to lose, Zoshi asks the King of Destruction to change into a bigger form and destroy Tushan. In the dream world, Yushu decides to stop hitting himself, but Rongrong tells him she will deduct his salary and also deduct Susu's salary so he won't get sweets. He hits himself repeatedly, calling Dongfang Yushu a dead person. This triggers Hong Hong. In the past world, Dongfang Yushu is caught in the Tushan room by Rongrong, and he confesses to Rongrong that he wants to confess his feelings to Hong Hong the next day. And Rongrong gives him the mountain Hong Hong will be. He stays on her path, asking some people to help him with his love proposal. He sees her dressed elegantly with flowers and assumes she has another love, and he follows her until she enters a cave and sits beside the body of the boy she killed. She remembers her last memory with him, which is when the boy said he believed that one day humans and spirits would live in peace. She says that has remained her watchword, and she won't rest, nor will she fall in love with anyone else until she gets it done. Yushu overhears this and realizes he has no chance. He goes to some Taoists who have plans to attack Tushan. He says those were why he didn't have luck with his love. A year later, he still wallows in that pain. Rongrong comes to advise him that he can't get her by being like that. He tells her he will go around the world and fulfill her dreams so she will have no other dream to share with the dead Taoist, and she will be able to love him. After about 50 years of being a Taoist spreading love for the spirit among the Taoists, her ladyship purposefully robs the fox spirit in a killing case. That caused the fight. A duel to the death was organized between the Taoists and the spirit world. Yushu sets himself up by going for the fight so her ladyship can reveal herself. At the present time, Dongfang Yushu appreciates Bai Yushu for allowing him to come out. He tells Rongrong that he has taken Hong Hong's soul, and Susu is back in the world. However, it isn't over, and it will not be over soon.